It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
My man Pete, always on deck. And we are Ermanni Networks with Maz, having a good time on a beautiful Wednesday. The main man himself is in the building. There he is. There he is.
There's
Ryan
Mr.
Ermanni.
Fresh off the Scout massage.
Ryan Ermanni, you know you have to thank for that. What's up, brother?
What's up?
Now, you were enjoying a beautiful Scout massage. You look so comfortable.
Well,
relaxing. Don't those just feel so amazing?
you know, Becca's got this thing down to the second here. And you would think that my good friend Pete, how many times have we started the show at 2:00:30?
No. I was told.
I was 2:01. Hell, we've started the show at 2:05 before.
True.
I was instructed to commence.
There were some shows that never even started.
Never got off the ground.
Right, never got off the ground. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, today was haircut day. I have limited time.
This is very true.
I have limited time.
And you have to make the most of each second. Each minute.
Absolutely.
It's getting more limited every day.
Today, my girl Becca, I had the hot lather neck shave. I had the, what else did I have today? I had, come on in here, Becca. Can you wave to the, no? Come on. Now, Becca, I was just talking about Becca. Come on up here. Come on, Becca. Come on up, Becca. Come on up, Becca. Come on up.
There she is.
Oh, thank you so much. There's Becca.
There you go. Big rain.
Now, Becca is moving to Florida. Can I say that out loud?
Too late, you did.
Now, and I cannot believe it, but I have to have somebody else cut my hair here.
Now, this has been a 4-year thing now.
This is, she's my, I would never let anybody touch my hair other than Becca.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal for me.
This is tough, man.
I have no idea. Look, you can't get that hair.
Now, how are you going to do this process? How are you going to go about finding the next stylist to take care of Brian? Is this a maybe?
We already started the interview process.
We have
vetting right now.
Truth be told, a majority of the time that Becca and I were just together, she was suggesting stylists for me.
A referral. There you go.
A referral. Now, we have to check on availability.
Okay.
And see if it fits in the schedule. And that's what happened.
I think it will. I think this is the great Ryan Ermanni. I think everybody would jump at the chance to become the number one stylist.
Now, Braylon, I know you. You, too, are very particular about who touches your hair.
Oh, yeah.
This is very true.
That's a black thing.
This is very true.
That's just a black thing, man.
You heard Chris Tucker in Rush Hour, too. It's just the same with hair.
Tom Mazaway, not as particular.
No. Not much to work with. Not much to work with. I do know one thing. I will not be black hair Maz anymore.
No more evil man.
No more angry Maz.
What was that decision to do that, Maz? Talk to me about that.
It was the family. They were like, Dad, man, your hair's so white. Why don't you put some color in it? I'm like, I don't want to be one of those guys.
But you did it anyway.
You put that color in it. Usually looks like orange on these guys with gray hair. So I think I went a couple of shades too dark. So I came home. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, my God, can I wash this crap out?
You went 2 shades too dark, though.
Yeah, 2 shades too dark. So
you just had that Ryan Day look for a second, man. No big deal.
It is what it is. I am what I am.
It's so great, though. I mean, I'll never forget. And you had the goatee, too, which really went.
That did me in.
I think if you would have just done the hair,
it wouldn't have been as bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is absolutely correct. If you would have just done the hair, I think you would have been okay. Where you really lost a lot of the people, man, I think was the goatee.
Well, it is what it is, and it won't happen again.
Like, Maz came here, I was like, I don't have it. Like he meant business.
Oh, my gosh. Did you go to the ball game last night, Maz?
No, I went 2 nights ago.
Now, let me ask you. Would you prefer a 1-0 pitcher's duel?
Yes.
Or A game last night for the Tigers.
Pretty damn fun.
I'm telling you, Braylon, you sent the text right away. 3-0 Twins.
Every time I get in the car, I promise you, every time I get in the car, turn on the radio when it's a ball game at night. Dan Dickerson's on. Within 2 calls, Dan Dickerson is usually saying somebody went exit stage left, and it's usually the opposition. Last night I turned on the radio, and like clockwork, he said, and that's an opposite field home run. You know what? After 4 batters, it scores 3-0. I'm like,
and then you blinked, and it was 6-0.
4 batters, it was 3-0.
Then it was 6-0.
I know,
and then they took Kenta Maeda out, and I'll tell you, man,
1,000 strikeout.
But give this guy some credit for being a man that he is.
Kenta Maeda?
You're right. In the clubhouse.
Okay.
In the clubhouse, he's got his interpreter next to him.
Right.
And they're interviewing him. And he basically said through his interpreter, it's not right. I'm embarrassed. I can't. I'm doing this to my team. I'm hurting my team. I'm hurting my teammates. Something's got to change.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like Kenta Maeda. Yeah. I just don't like him as a pitcher. I mean, he's
falling off a cliff.
Seriously, KG, every time this guy goes out there, it's a loss for the Tigers. Or at least that's how I feel about it.
It's a horrible showing, too. It's not just a bad situation, bad outing. It's also a horrible showing, right?
And the team tried to give him, bail him out last night. I mean, they did tie it up 7-7. At one point before losing an extra innings, and they
had a chance too in the 9th.
I
and
know 10th. The 9th for sure, and even in the 10th, they've got the tying run at 3rd with 2 outs. I mean, this team fights hard. They just don't have the tools. You know, it's like what did Mick say to Rocky? He's like, fight this guy hard. You know?
Fight him hard like he did the first
But he ain't got the tools anymore. And this team just doesn't have the. It's like you go to forgive the analogy. It just is what it is. It's like you're going to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you trot this lineup out there, day in and day out, when they score runs, they can't pitch. When they pitch, they can't score runs. And it's a really, really devastating season, I think, so far for the Tigers because there is so much promise. I do think this pitching staff is one in which could get you to 85, 90 wins.
Yeah.
And heaven forbid, a wild card series. They just don't have. Now, last night notwithstanding, Braylon, they just don't have the firepower offensively.
Yeah, they don't, and we talk about all the teams here, it's kind of like the Red Wings last year. Even if they would have made the playoffs, they didn't have the firepower to necessarily win the actual series. You go back to the Tigers and you look at it, they are fighters, and they do have a pitching staff. What will they do at the trade deadline still remains to be seen. But Ryan Ermanni, when you see what they've become, you see how hard they fight, you see how they started, and you see pieces trying to come together. It's one of those situations where Scott Harris, you're looking at him like, all right, you got my attention. This is a very pivotal offseason, though, coming up for Scott Harris and these Detroit Tigers, because you're talking about a team that may be fighting for a playoff win next season if they play it right, just based on what I'm seeing this season so far.
And Maz, you're about as close to this team as anybody. Yeah. How would you characterize this season? I mean, Sunday will be the end of the first half, unofficial first half, with the All-Star break coming up Sunday after the game against the Dodgers. 2 Tigers, of course, will go to the All-Star game, but nonetheless, first half is over. How would you characterize the first half?
Can I ask you a question straight up?
Yeah.
If Scott Harris would have made the moves that people wanted in the offseason, going into the season, if they would have got the bats that they particularly wanted, a couple of the bats known, obviously J.D. Martinez's name, that came up the most. Is that something that Scott Harris falls? Because we could be a better team if that would have happened?
Yes. Okay. They'd be at least a 500-plus team if they had a hitter, like a professional hitter like J.D. Martinez in the lineup. And I know he can't play the field like he used to. I'm sure he could play first base if you teach him, and if you need him there. He could have took over for Torkelson, but Riley asked me about the team. Mm-hmm. There's a couple bright spots. You see what Riley Green is bringing to the table, and you see Colt Keith.
Yeah,
he's getting better.
He's
getting
hot.
better.
Yep, no doubt.
Then you get a Justin Henry Malloy that comes up, and he's got bright spots. And then you got the downside. You got Mark Canha hitting 220. He's supposed to be a professional hitter. Zach McKinstry, I'm sorry. He's not a great ball player. Mm-hmm. I like Vierling. I do like Vierling. But you can't just field that team. The center fielder should be Parker Meadows. Unfortunately, he had to go down for a couple of months to AAA, comes up, and he pulls a hamstring.
Yeah.
So he's out a month. Akil Baddoo can't play.
Yeah.
He could run. Torque is not going to come up. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
He's not coming back. Maybe
He's
September, maybe when it's all over. But the pitching staff has been mostly terrific. The bullpen, pretty damn good, especially like a Bo Brisky out of the bullpen. He's having a hell of a season.
So let me ask you this, both of you. How do you fix this team? Because the trade deadline is coming up at the end of the month, and you see, you have pieces. Yeah. I mean, who is available in the? Are you really willing? I don't want to say mortgage the farm, but are you? Flaherty's contract is up at the end of the year. If you did want to re-sign him, you could re-sign him. You could trade him and re-sign him at the end of the year, right? Am I right on the? You could, right?
Yeah.
So, but who are you legitimately considering trading off this team? Because I do feel they are on the brink if they just open up the pocketbook and spend a couple of bucks on some veteran bats, good bats.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know who you would trade to get any value back. Look, you keep going to your age-old battle with Tarek Scuba. Will you trade Scuba? Will you field calls on Scuba if somebody wants to come to you and bring you a deal? Unless they're offering you substantial. I'm talking about ready now players as well as draft
prospects.
Plus prospects. If they're giving you something like that and you just can't turn it down, then hey, that's a means to get better. But if they're not doing that, keep Tarek Scuba. At the end of the day, there's nobody I don't think you can get value for is maybe him and Riley Green. And if you're going to get rid of those players, you're going to risk starting all over again when, as you say, we have some pieces. I don't think you move anybody realistically. Flaherty's the only one. I know he's pitching on Thursday. They're trying to get him back out there. Outside of Flaherty, I think he may stay put.
You talk about
they got some guys in the minors that are ready to blossom, as they say. You got a catcher in Dylan Dingler in Toledo.
Yeah.
Not having a great year, but he's doing okay. You got other guys that are ready to come up. Like I said, I got lucky enough to talk to Kirk Gibson the other night. And he has a lot of faith in what they have in the minors. Maybe you have to trade some of those guys. Trade some of your minor league guys.
like a Jackson Jobe, a Max
Jackson
Clark.
Jobe is supposedly a can't miss.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, then let me put it to you like this, because if Jackson Jobe is a can't miss and Tarek Skubal looks like he could be one of the most dominant pitchers for the next 8 years.
He wasn't even the highest drafted pitcher in that draft.
You have something, a bit of a 1-2 punch, like a Scherzer and a Verlander, if you could just fill out the offense now. And again, as you mentioned, Tom.
You need a shortstop.
There's
third baseman.
Can I just say something about Javi Baez
I know.
real quick?
That was funny last night.
He gets hit by a pitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay? He gets hit, and he stares at the mound as if that was on purpose.
Did you hear what the Guardians announcer said?
You're hitting 200, below 200, Javi. Nobody's putting you on base. I mean, and it was so true.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it, by the way.
That's the truth.
Right? I mean,
Guys, honest truth.
100%.
No one's hitting him on purpose.
no.
Yeah, I stopped talking about Javi Baez a long time ago. I mean, what else is there left to be said about that? The other thing I wanted to say in terms of what do you do? This is for next year. I know we don't want to talk about next year, but this is the truth. You got to draft better. Like, you legitimately have to draft better. I mean, like, Tarek Skubal was the best pitcher out of that class. Tarek Skubal was the third one you drafted. You drafted him in the 9th round. Like, he wasn't Casey Mize. He wasn't Spencer Torkelson. These names I'm naming, but it's the truth. So you got to draft better. You got to have better prospects, better scouts. You got to dial into this thing, man. Like, that's another thing that can help them. It's something that you have that you don't have to go out and get. So get better at it.
You think about the first overall picks that this team has
Oh,
had,
my
right?
God.
I mean, Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah.
Like,
Al
and
Avila
with-
picks.
when you consider, like, like the Bryce Harpers of the world, the Mike Trouts of the world, like those kind of guys, you know what I mean?
It's like when the Pistons had the chance for a number 1 pick. There really wasn't a stick out right there. And that's what basically happened with the Tigers. And if you go back to those 2 drafts, I bet you there are some players there that are really doing well, better than Mize, better than Torkelson.
How about
I'd have to
Heston?
go back and look.
Jerstad from the Orioles, the outfielder from the Orioles.
Oh, yeah.
Really, I
What year
mean,
did Spencer Torkelson get drafted?
Garrett Crochet for the
Crochet's pitching great now.
Pitching great now,
Yeah. The Torque draft really wasn't.
Again,
that
if
great.
Mize wasn't getting injured, he shows you.
Right.
He could strike out 10 guys in
Yeah.
a game. Who the hell knows, man?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It is
The
something.
baseball
man.
draft Sunday, by the way. I think the Tigers pick 11th. So we'll see. Scott Harris, let's
can't
go.
be any worse than what they've done for first overall.
Let's go.
And is there any, even at the deadline, do you have any faith that Scott Harris is going to, I anticipate Flaherty is really the only player that's getting moved. I can't imagine.
Urshela maybe because he's a he's a good
maybe Mark
utility
Canna.
guy.
Yeah.
Canna's betting 220. He's not helping himself.
Right.
Carson Kelly, maybe you kick the tires on Reese Olsen as well.
Maybe.
Got a lot of relievers too.
Do you have any faith that Scott Harris is going to make the right decision?
I say no. He hasn't shown us anything yet. And I know he's had limited time to do so, but we knew what we had coming into the season. You knew what the pitching staff was going to be. Chris Fetter is a damn good pitching coach. You knew what he was allowed to do. You knew how he was going to help. You knew you needed bats, and you still didn't go out and get any bats. So in that limited time I've seen so far of Scott Harris, nothing which shows me hope that he's going to get it right before the trade deadline.
And the only thing he's gotten close to that we actually saw was the Eduardo Rodriguez deal fall through. So to Ryan's point, it's a good question to ask. Like, am I scared? No, but I do have some concerns or worries. I'm watching this trade deadline very closely.
They're not going to get any players to help them this year.
No.
They're not. The only way you're going to see players on this team is if they trade some of their minor league talent. Because there's no one upstairs that you could trade. I'm not trading Scooble.
No.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not trading Riley Green. I'm not.
I'm not even considering trading Scooby anymore.
Everyone else, take.
I don't even think you would get what you think you would get for Flaherty. Like, Flaherty was a situational pitcher coming into him. We only picked him up because we knew Chris Fetter could work with him and it would work with our bullpen.
It hurt that he got hurt.
Very true.
He screwed us. We got screwed because he got injured.
You know, if you look at like a staff like Baltimore that got just trucked by the Cubs last night, you know what I mean? You think they couldn't use Jack Flaherty in their starting rotation? I mean, that's a good young ball club.
How about the Yankees?
It's going to be the Yankees, absolutely. But again, the Yankees don't have anybody to give you back.
We'll take Soto.
The Yankees are 6-17 in the last 23. What the hell is going on with
They
them?
have the worst streak this year in baseball. Currently,
Steinbrenner and Cashman are on the road with them now.
Oh, that's great.
6-17.
Oh,
they
thanks, Hal.
falling apart. They couldn't hit the side of a barn.
George Steinbrenner is turning over in his grave right now. I'm telling you right now.
It's just crazy.
It is ugly in the Bronx.
You got
Why is it
Soto
so
and
bad?
Judge.
Thank God they had the start they did, if you're a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
But besides that, they'd be also ran already.
I mean, is it clearly because, as soon as Rizzo got hurt, then Stanton got hurt?
Stanton's always going to get hurt.
But that's two huge spots in your lineup.
Rizzo wasn't killing it.
No.
He really wasn't.
Hitting, the pitching has been average, and also the fielding has been horrendous. They've had a lot of rookie to first year mistakes. I was actually watching MLB Network. MLB Network is
love MLB
They're the
Network.
best of the four.
Yeah.
Oh, hands down.
It's not even close. They're the best of the four. You turn it on and you feel like you're watching ESPN. Oh, by the way, they're talking about
baseball. They do
baseball.
it right. It's the one thing baseball does right.
Right.
They got their network right.
Yeah.
They were just talking about the players that they're not being made defensively by the Yankees as well. Like, they're really like a AAA ball club out there right now. It's bad.
And Trent Grisham was like, first of all, he's like a 200 hitter. He's like an also ran.
Everybody's like a 200 hitter in baseball this year, by the way.
240 is your average.
Yeah, 242.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Grisham would like dog the ball to center field. The guy got a double between second and short, between second base and center field. Dropped it in the middle there and got a double out of it because Grisham just basically came up and booted the ball. Just dogging it.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, and then obviously just sticking with baseball for a minute too. By the way, if Rizzo's batting seventh in your lineup, that's a pretty damn good lineup, by the way.
Yeah.
He's not doing great. How about the Phillies and the Dodgers last night? Anybody pay attention to that?
I watched the game.
Blowout too.
I text you in the chat. I'm watching this.
Right, the Phillies and the Dodgers. I mean, a preview of the NLCS, or what many people believe of the NLCS. And I told you, this Phillies team is my pick for the World Series. Everybody's pointing to the Dodgers.
Zach Wheeler got hurt though.
Philly. I did not see that, but Philly, man.
See, that's the difference, and obviously we know because the Detroit Tigers are light years away from what the Phillies are. But that's the difference between just great ball clubs. The Detroit Tigers are trying to get AAA guys to play in a major way right now, or they're trying to bring guys that aren't necessarily ready to be stars and hold the load on this team. Meanwhile, Phillies are getting great play by guys that aren't even everyday players. I'm watching Marsh. Marsh is one of the best players on Phillies, the best young
just
talent.
a dirtbag,
and he's
too,
just,
man. I mean,
100%.
Just a dirtbag.
But the boy can hit. The boy can hit and play the game.
Alec Boehm's having his career year.
Yep, all-star.
This guy's like 10th, 11th on the roster, and having that type of contribution is where
Trey Turner's starting to hit now too. So
Trey, I like
he wasn't
Trey.
even hitting.
I mean that with all due respect, by the way, dirtbag.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just fantastic.
They
love
wear that moniker. They
I love that
that.
Phillies team, and then you think about
John Kruk on the broadcast.
He's
too.
fantastic. That broadcast, the Phillies broadcast,
It's very
is
good.
second only to the New York Mets. The New York Mets broadcast booth is the best. I
love
think.
John.
It's very good. There's a lot of good ones.
Speaking
out
of broadcasters, and Maz texted the group last night. You texted us.
I did.
About Jason Benetti.
Yes.
And how great it was.
Man, he sets the scene beautifully, goes to the commercials beautifully. He's, unfortunately for him, he's just too smart for some of the people that he sits with. Like, he's funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's so funny,
he's
and
quick.
I get it.
He's quick.
He's quick-witted.
Quick-witted, yeah.
I mean, he's very good with the trivial stuff.
Yeah.
Movie stuff, lines from movies, lines from books. And a lot of the guys, like Dan, don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, Peaches is sitting there like, yeah.
You're right.
He don't mean anything by it. It just goes over his head. I think Carlos Pena is the best match
Yeah.
for this guy. And even Carlos Pena can't match the wit
Right.
of Jason Benetti, but he is fantastic.
I wonder,
Fabulous.
well, as you
And like you said, too bad you can't watch it.
I know. So that was my reply last night. So, I'm kind of following
Man,
along.
one.
Kind of following along on ESPN.com. It's like, 3-0, 6-0, 6-2.
I'm watching Dodgers Phillies.
Right. And the Dodgers Phillies are on. So Maz texts about Benetti. And I'm like, great. I'm watching the Dodgers and the
Hey, you
Phillies.
watch it.
I mean, I wonder how the Tigers feel that they have literally paid a lot of money for this broadcaster to come from the White Sox, and nobody can watch them.
Yeah.
And
Well,
listen,
half can watch him.
not even half. Comcast customers make up
That's a
probably
majority.
80%.
You think 80?
It's a majority.
of Metro Detroit.
All right.
Of Metro Detroit, it's We are a cable watching city.
Agreed.
And most people have Comcast.
I did for almost 30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
I don't think you are.
I don't think I am, KG.
I don't think you are.
And nobody can watch it. And the Tigers themselves, they're not playing that good to where people are going to want to run out and spend $20 a month on a crappy app. And I say a crappy app because every time I go to social media, somebody with Bally Sports app says how bad the app is and how they cannot watch, or there's an interruption in the screen, or this app sucks, or this, that, and the other thing. So now if the Tigers were in first place or in the thick of a pennant race or a wild card, you'd probably have a lot more people spend $20 on that app. But sans that, I'm not racing to do that.
I read something the other day, and I'm not sure if it's even true, but supposedly by the end of July, we're going to know what's going on with the whole Bally's company, the Diamond Sports, all of that. They just dropped the Padres, Diamond Sports. So
What do you mean they dropped the Padres?
the Dallas Stars, excuse me.
Okay.
The Dallas Stars. I knew it was one of the big four teams. They're broke.
So they're not going to be.
I don't know if they're going to be viable.
Wow.
Someone might have to buy them and save the whole damn thing. And remember, Amazon was rumored before the season
For MLB.
to be taken over to MLB. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel bad for the people that work there, though.
Well, and when you think about our industry too, Bray, a lot of these leagues, Yes Network, SNY, New York, Spectrum is the Dodgers. So many of these teams,
Hey, Spectrum.
right? So many of these teams have their own kind of broadcast units, and I do think you lose a little bit of the journalism that goes along with that, and maybe there just isn't. Maybe journalism in sports doesn't even exist anymore because you got a bunch of blowhards like us on our opinion shows, or you have a bunch of PR guys, guys that are PR guys really that are just following the team. Like they would never say a bad word about the team or a player. Like
Yeah, you're giving them a bunch of vanilla information.
So it's like almost that aspect of it is completely gone.
That's tough, when you got that bias situation that you're talking about where the PR team is running with the team says what you can and cannot ask.
Right.
It just makes it tough. That's why shows like this become more and more important. Like these are where you start to have the conversation. That's why people need to tune in to Ryan Edwards with Matt.
Well, it's kind of like why Stephen A. Smith is rumored to be getting $100 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Stephen A. Smith is a guy
Creating some controversy. He's creating something to talk about.
Right. I mean, it's like our business has totally become
Entertainment.
totally entertainment. It's a total entertainment game.
But if you don't watch those kind of shows, does it really matter to you?
Well, do you read the newspaper? Are you reading the beat writers anymore?
Yeah.
You are?
Of course. I read them online.
But that's you.
Well, I read them online.
Well,
everyone reads them online. You're not following Dave Burkett or
now. I feel like NFL beat writers are different. I do think NFL beat writers are. I think NFL beat writers are the closest thing to true journalists that we have in sports. NFL beat writers.
But are you reading tweets or are you reading articles? Like columns?
I read the tweet and then I go to the article.
I think a lot of people are reading tweets.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are reading the chopped up version of columns, but I don't think people are dialing into the news online, whether you're online or whether it's a paper. I don't think they're reading the columns.
If it interests me, I'm going to click on it.
You 100%, but I think to Ryan's point, I think you represent a small minority of the average fan consumer now in terms of sports and how you consume your information. Like
this generation wants it quick,
which sucks, to be honest. You do it the right way, but everybody's looking for that entertainment or that clip.
NFL beat writers to me are here above everybody else. I still think they call it like they see it. And I don't think they are clouded by just about anything. I think every other beat writer, you
don't read a bad thing about a Tiger, a Red Wing,
zero,
or even a Piston.
Zero. Tell me the last negative article you've ever read about the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Pistons, or the Detroit Red Wings.
It's always spun to the sunshine. It's always spun, but look what's coming up.
Right. So I think there's like
you got a good point there.
I mean, that's just for me. So I don't read it because it's, you know what I mean? So where you might not listen to the Stephen A. Smith blowhard entertainment part of it, like I don't really care about the PR end of it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is the point of that?
But $100 million,
right?
That's a lot of money, man.
Like, what is the point of that? Like, in terms of here in Detroit, like you don't hear anything negative about the Tigers, the Pistons, or the Red Wings. Meanwhile, the Lions, even last year,
access. I mean, I think for a lot of these guys, for a lot of these teams, if you
whisper something, that you're out.
If you say a bad word about it, they're just not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you any access. They're not going to give you a story. They're not going to feed you anything. They're not going to.
Gotcha.
It's over. I think your access is cut off, and I think that's why I really do. I think that's why you don't read anything or anything about Javi Baez. Oh, he's working so hard. Javi Baez is one of the hardest working guys that you'll see on the Tigers.
Great tagger.
That's a good call.
Let's face it, when you say something bad, and some guys in the media back in the day with Miggy would always say, oh, this guy forgets to speak English when you walk into the clubhouse.
Right.
And he did. Right. But if you wrote that, he knows.
Right.
He knows the guys that have wronged him.
Right.
Put it that way. And there's a lot of those guys out there, man. I can give you stories like you wouldn't believe. I got friends that have been bat boys and that have worked in those clubhouses. And to hear some stories of some of these guys, like Max Scherzer, don't touch Max Scherzer's cleats. I'm telling you that there's so many freaking stories out there that would just curl your hair if you had any hair.
Right. It is wild, man.
Ian Kinsler, the way he used to get ready for a game was pretty funny. That's all I got to say.
Ian Kinsler?
Ian Kinsler, like I said.
I liked Ian Kinsler. I never had a problem with Ian Kinsler.
Ian Kinsler would stand in front of the full-length mirror before the game, and he would lotion his body up from head to toe.
All right.
Look at himself, and then start getting his uniform on little by little. There's this some Bryce Harper works on his hair for like hours.
Makes sense.
You've read that. He says that. Don't say anything
awesome.
about Bryce Harper's hair. That's his thing.
Right.
Bryce Harper would do what the hell he want to do before games.
Right, for
He's
real.
out there killing it.
How about was it you that sent the clip about Bryce Harper and what his dad used to
Oh,
do?
that was me.
That was the coolest thing.
With the bean.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
and threw the ball in front of a fan.
Yep. So he said the way his dad did it was just you flick the bean up, and you hit it, You catch the bean with a stick. So you get used to that hand-eye coordination. But the way they really do it is they add that fan, and so now it's moving. So you got to catch the bean as it's moving in the fan. Like it's.
I'm just saying, Bryce Harper's dad, the way he taught him to hit, he'd flip a bean up and have Bryce hit it with a stick, and then added the fan.
Like this is nuts.
So it would be like.
And it's funny when I sent that. You know what I was thinking about when I sent it?
Stan.
Oh, 100%. like 1,000%. Like the stuff he would come up with, like, so I lived on basically 8 Mile and in Green Acres. I lived on 8 Mile and Briarcliff. My dad lived 2 blocks over on Stratford and 8 Mile. He would call me and say, hey, come over after you eat dinner. So I would eat dinner and have to go over there. I had to put ankle weights on my ankles and then sit on the wall. I have to hold one leg up on the wall for a minute, then alternate, rotate. Ryan, I was 12.
Oh, my gosh, dude. That's
so I was listening.
Awesome.
I was like, goosebumps.
That is so awesome.
It worked.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to talk a little Lions if we could next. Calvin Johnson was in studio at Fox 2 earlier today. I asked him, he was there for his charity gala, which we will be broadcasting live on Monday at Detroit Golf Club for Calvin Johnson's charity golf tournament. We are going to talk about that next. Also, he talks about the Lions. It was one question at the end of the interview about the charity, about the Lions. We'll play that for you next. Get into some Lions talk. Amon-Ra St. Brown on Netflix tonight as well for receiver. New York Giants off-season continues.
Great stuff.
So great. I was so glued last night, too. I went to bed at like 11:30 watching that stuff.
It was good.
Which for me is like equivalent
That's
to
like
maybe
2
a normal
that's
person
2 a.m.
staying up to 2 a.m.
That's maybe even 3.
We'll do that
Maybe
next. But
3.
first, a message from the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Michigan.
That's right. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit, the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. Told you guys all the time, that's the place where I belong. Years ago, they get it. They want to give all theirs to your kids. They want you to come down, register now for tackle football and cheerleading. All coaches are trained, certified, and they do undergo background checks. You have nothing to worry about. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Over 50 locations in metropolitan Detroit. They are the premier gym in the state, but also they make the fitness fit into your budget. So you can come down, get yourself a membership pass. Won't cost you a lot, and you will enjoy a judgment-free zone and total body fitness whenever you want to. They also have trainers, so you get the full blunt of the gym workout process, exercise. Just go to Planet Fitness.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamm for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around. Who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of. And guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, you have a new home or you're not feeling a financial pinch? I feel you, man. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them online at markwhitesells.com. That's right. Give Mark White a call today, 248-290-8242, and make your dreams come true.
And you can make those dreams come true right here at Lady Jane's as well. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is wicked awesome. That's what I had earlier, wicked awesome haircut. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop and sit back. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You can walk in anytime, 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome. Had the pleasure to be joined by Calvin Johnson at Fox 2 today, Braylon Edwards. And oh, by the way, so Braylon, Calvin has his Catching Dreams charity weekend. So there's a gala on Saturday.
Yep.
There's a youth football camp on Sunday.
Yep.
Charity golf outing on Monday. So the promotional video that the foundation sent to me from last year has all of the great players that were there and interviews with Warren Sapp, Hines Ward, and Braylon Edwards. You were all over this thing, man.
Hey, man, it's fun. You know, Calvin and I have become really good friends in the wake of his retirement, my retirement. Our families know each other as well, and he always doing good things. You know, it's good to be around good things, and when people do things like that, especially in the city that you're born and raised in, you know, you want to give your time and effort and energy and help him. So, you know, he's asked me to play in his golf out, and I played last year. I actually won it last year, which was fun, but, you know, a lot of heart out to Calvin, what he does in the city, man. He's really an adopted son of Detroit, and, you know, as a Detroiter, it was good to be a part of his foundation, his charity.
Speaking of golf, so TJ Lang and Anthony Tomey from Born in Detroit.
That's my guy. I just golfed with Anthony last week.
Were exactly. So Anthony Tomey, Born in Detroit, says, I just played golf with Braylon Edwards this week. I'm like, oh, Braylon's a great guy, man. Braylon's the best guy ever. And he says, nobody will. Braylon's golf game is on point. Nobody will ever outdress Braylon on the golf course. He was talking about the way you dressed on the golf course. It was like 90 degrees and you're wearing like pants and all looking good. You got your vest and everything like that.
Hey, look, man, golf is an expensive sport. Let's start there. So you want to buy quality pieces so they last you the tenure of your golf time. But, you know, look, it's like Deion said, you know, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So I always take that approach to golf. Like, hey, look, I may not go out here and shoot under 80, but I'm going to look damn good.
Braylon's sweats are worth more than like my best suits. And nobody looks better than anything than
nobody. He's one of the most handsome guys I've ever seen in my life.
Handsome.
I know.
You guys going to make me blush, man.
It kind of sucks sitting next to him, actually.
Little Lulu, just little Lulu. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. So let me
I hate anyone that could shop at Lululemon.
Right.
Men, I mean.
Let me ask, before we get to the Calvin sound, I want to ask the guys this. So, KG?
Yes, sir.
Pete?
Yeah.
Even intern Joel. Good to see you, Joel. Good, man.
Joel decided to come in today.
He hiding from
He makes his own schedule.
So, earlier today, Calvin Johnson was at Fox 2. we have people come into Fox 2 all the time. I mean, like 100 times a day we've got guests. Yeah. So for the 9 o'clock show at 8:30 every morning, I go on the news and I say what's coming up on the show that I do called The 9. I mentioned Calvin Johnson was coming in. The place stopped. Yeah. Calvin Johnson's coming in? Whoa, Calvin Johnson. And it was just like, Calvin Johnson's coming in today. Calvin Johnson's coming in today. Is there anybody that could come into this studio, Detroit sports legend, where everything would just stop?
Do you know why that is with Calvin Johnson versus anybody that you guys have in?
I was actually talking to him about it. Like, I was like, is it like, how do you feel about that? Because I was like, let me tell you, the buzz in this building and people come in here every day for you was pretty darn cool.
I think what it is for Calvin is rightfully deserved. You look at it as this. Calvin Johnson was the only bright spot that the Detroit Lions fans had for a very long time. I mean, you're talking about basically since Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson in the one season, but he was the bright spot for Detroit. And for as much as Detroit, like you said, those journalists, they talk stuff, and even Calvin called a little bit towards the end of his career. He always did it with a smile. He always did it upbeat, and he went out there and he put on for the city, and he was a national player. He wasn't just a good player in Detroit. Calvin Johnson, you ask people that are, you ask kids that are younger now, that younger generation, Calvin is in the top 3 of all time. A lot of people, he's number 1. So I think that's why when you mention his name, it's a little different. Like Calvin Johnson is special in Detroit. It's like Barry.
That 2014 team. That 2014 team, man. Yeah. I loved that team. That team really, honestly, was short-circuited. And I'm not going to keep rehashing it, but I will. They were robbed in Dallas.
If they win that game in Dallas, they could
win. They could win the following week against Green Bay.
They called a game mature the next game. They could have
beat Green Bay.
That's what I'm just asking. That's all.
Yeah. They could have beat them. They would have been. I think they would have been home if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Or did the Packers win? The Packers won that year.
No, they would have.
It would have been at Green Bay. I don't know. I would have taken my chances. I'm just saying that was a hell of a team. Stafford, Calvin Johnson, you got Ndamukong Suh and the guys on the other side. That was a hell of a team. But Calvin Johnson really is. He's like our Hollywood star.
Right.
Barry Sanders and him, they're royalty here in this town.
And he was such a quiet guy, too, when he played. I mean, he talks way more now than ever before.
Yeah. Just like Barry.
As a player, just like Barry. That's like right. So, I mean, now that you guys, is there anybody that could walk in here? Go ahead, Pete.
Oh, I think I have a good one. Now, this might be generational. But whenever Thomas Hearns is in the house, I think that everybody comes to a standstill because you know Tommy Hearns when you see Tommy Hearns.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
For me,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, the story. Like my dad, like I just had so much access. Like
I know.
As a kid, like like you said, Tommy Hearns, like that's Uncle Tommy, like hanging out at his house, living in Southfield. Isaiah, Joe D, like it would be tough, hard pressed to figure something out.
KG?
It would be Big Ben for me. And, of course, Calvin is one as well. But Big Ben, man, he just got an aura about him, man. Yeah. I got to do the 04 Pistons
the quiet
game.
Ones always do.
Yeah, for real. I got to do the 04 Pistons game with Kool-Aid when they honored him this past season. And we got to see everybody going through the locker room. Chauncey, Lindsey, all the guys. Darvin Ham flew in. They're all walking through there. And then at the end of everybody was Ben Wallace by himself. And this guy, he just carries like just a certain aura about him, man. I can't even really explain it. But that would be one where I would stop like, oh, man, that's Ben Wallace, man. I watched you win a championship.
The other day I saw a tweet, and it might have been from us. They put the 4 Detroit athletes from each sport. Isaiah Thomas, Steve Yzerman, let's just say it was Barry Sanders / Calvin Johnson, and the 4th was Miggy. It said eliminate 1.
Miggy.
I said Mickey.
I mean, really?
Yeah. I know, but I mean that's a kind of a slap. Yeah. But I did say Miggy right away. Then I thought back, and I'm like, how can I eliminate him for what? Winning the Triple Crown and leading the league and all of that, and 2 World Series. I know they didn't win, but man, that was a tough one when I saw those athletes in front of me.
I'll just you talk about these athletes endearing themselves to the community as well.
Yeah.
Like these guys are embedded here. Isaiah Thomas, and if you asked me who could walk in this door and I would
Yes.
My jaw would drop on the
He's
floor.
another one, yes.
It's Isaiah Thomas.
I'm
for
with
me.
you.
It's Isaiah Thomas.
I'm with you.
And, Isaiah Thomas was one of those guys that made me love sports.
Yeah.
The fight, the will, the competing.
And nobody loves this city more than him.
And nobody loved winning more than him, too. This guy was a winner. This guy fought. He punched. He literally fought to win for Detroit, for the Detroit Pistons.
His own team, too.
He didn't fight the guys on his own team.
Yeah.
So that's that guy for me. And any chance that Isaiah Thomas gets to speak highly of the city of Detroit and its people, he takes.
He defends.
Barry Sanders is
a quiet man who now is out there doing autographs and giveaways and stuff. Let's face, that's what he is.
Yeah, but he was one of the most beloved players ever since day one.
Classy.
Hand the ball to the official,
Classy.
right?
You were saying something earlier, KG, and we were talking about like just the quiet ones. Like it's something about those quiet stars, the ones that don't say much. I remember Michael Jordan's always been my favorite basketball player. Like, so even with the Kobe, like when Kobe was doing his thing, I wasn't really a huge Kobe fan. I respected the numbers.
Me too.
I respected the championships, the numbers. He was dunking on people, the aggression, and the way in which he played.
But you didn't like the guy.
Didn't like Kobe. I didn't like the cat. Fast forward, I was at an All-Star game. I want to say it was in Denver, maybe. I think All-Star, Denver or Houston. Or wherever we were at. We were in Houston. And we were in a room full of stars. Room full of players, room full of entertainers, room full of... Kobe was to himself, was doing his thing, was very quiet, was very chill. I was just watching other people look at his aura. And I'm still young. I'm like kind of taking all in as the event, meaning that it's pause. And you just watch people like whisper about Kobe, talk a little bit about Kobe. And then I started to notice the quiet ways in which it was. It's something about those quiet ones, man, because you don't get a lot out of them, and you just wonder.
But you feel it, though.
You feel it,
when
though,
they
the aura.
in the
Yeah. In a setting, his aura is pulsating.
And obviously nobody's going to get rid of Steve Yzerman off that list.
No.
Right? I mean, Steve Yzerman
He keep not making the playoffs.
The captain.
He keep not making the playoffs.
And I do think, like, if
he starts to bleed into your legacy.
Time to win, though.
Look at what happened with Joe Dumars here in Detroit.
Legacy not the same.
Yeah.
It is not the same. And
it sucks, but it's not.
I think Alan Trammell regained it a little bit. You know what I mean? A little bit.
I think Tiger fans forgot that he was a manager.
I do too now.
Yeah. He was just your shortstop.
Yeah. Yes. But that period when it happened, I'll never forget. I got into it with Alan Trammell one time.
Really?
I'll never forget. I will never forget it. I will never forget it.
Tell us about
it. It was the Tigers were on the road, and I personally didn't get into it with Alan Trammell. He got into it with me.
Okay.
So
that's a big detail, right?
Right.
That's a big detail to leave out.
I didn't say nothing.
So the Tigers were on a road trip, and they had a couple of bad losses. And on back-to-back days, Pudge Rodriguez said, quote, like in the postgame show, "This team sucks." And Maglio Ordonez the next day said, "This team sucks." So you go down for pregame sound. You've got the 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock newscast. So generally, what I would do is go down to Comerica Park around 3:30. That's when all the batting practice happens. That's when the player availability happens. That's when you speak to the manager. So it's like the media swarm, and Alan Trammell's there, and sitting there on in the Tigers dugout, and I said I didn't even read the quotes that this team sucks. I said, Alan, on back-to-back days, your two best players said that this team stinks. They said sucks. Mm-hmm. I softened it to stinks. And
Didn't matter to him.
He looked at me, stood up, he's like, "Are you trying to sabotage me?"
No.
Are you trying to sabotage me? The Tigers at the time, and I do think it was Brian Britton at the time and Rick Thompson. Those are the PR guys at the time. They tried to take my credential away.
Wow.
Oh, my. Wow.
So when you talk about and let me tell you, that question, and it was verbatim, by the way, on back-to-back days, your two best players said that this team stinks. What is your reaction to that? You trying to sabotage me? And he stood up and he got in my face. And it was jarring.
Did you get did your stomach hurt?
Oh my God. I was, and I'm a kid.
Yeah.
About to mess yourself.
I'm a kid. This is 2005. I just got hired in 2003. I'm
my senior year.
I'm seen as a young punk anyway in the business. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've no respect whatsoever, none.
Rodney Dangerfield.
You know what I mean? You're a kid, basically seen in the business. I was 20, I got hired at 24, so I'm 26 at the time.
Okay.
And boy, my stomach hurt so bad.
I can imagine.
It was the most awful feeling. I mean, I had posters of Alan Trammell in my bedroom growing up, and this guy's attacking me for asking what I think is a legitimate question. It's the first availability for the local media after those comments were made. So I'm thinking that's a really good question. You're going to get a really good soundbite on that. Yeah, and I'll never forget this ever in my life, no matter what I do in this business. I'm thinking to myself, because when you ask a question, you kind of have an idea of what you think the answer will be.
Yeah.
So I asked that question, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's going to be a good soundbite. Alan Trammell's going to say, yeah, I'm glad our guys are not happy losing, and we're going to do everything in our power.
That's where you're trying to lead them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm glad our guys are not happy
throw them
losing.
Now, did you get the death stare from Tom Gage, John
actually,
Lowe?
No.
Lynn Henning?
No, and let me tell you, Chris McCoskey was there.
Yeah.
And Chris McCoskey had my back.
I bet.
He had my back in that situation. And
did he speak up?
No, but
he just took you on the side?
He just took me on the side. You didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of you didn't do anything. I
gave you a soft landing.
Mortified.
Yeah. But you gave them the story.
Right.
By doing what you did.
But I'll tell you, man, it is an uncomfortable spot to go in, because now if that happened, I'd be able to stand up for myself.
Yeah,
I was never able to stand up for myself at all there.
Yeah.
That was really the
it was back in the day. You really couldn't say nothing at that age. It was it's like a process.
I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
I'm just
earn your stripes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's when I go back to literally it was Brian Britton and Rick Thompson.
Yep.
Those guys were really something. They tried. They it was
Jesus.
Well,
they got sent.
Yeah, I mean they have bosses too, right? They have bosses.
They sent out
too.
the dogs came after you.
Oh man, that Rick Thompson was something else, man.
You're not kidding.
He was something else.
You're not kidding. Hey, Pete, I just sent you something. Did you get it?
Oh, okay. Hang on, bro.
Okay, because I want to play this while Ryan is talking about a manager talking. Now, I closed out a press conference. I've told this before, but I've closed out a Doug Collins press conference. I asked about Stacey Augmon, and
you said
he got slammed the things down. And
do you have the video of it? Is that what this is?
No.
Oh.
I wish I had that. I'm going to show you something from the other night.
Okay.
Poor Ron Washington is the manager of the Angels. First of all, he was hired there because no one else wanted the damn job, and Ron wants to stay in baseball. He's always a terrific bench coach. And if you remember him from Moneyball, he was the right-hand man.
Oakland.
Art
Howe.
With Billy Beane and Art Howe. And when they went into Scott Hatteberg, and Billy Beane's like, we want you to come and play, but you can't be a catcher anymore. Your shoulder's shot. He's like, well, what do you want me to play? He's like, well, first base. He's like, first base? I've never played first base in my life. And Billy Beane says, anyone could play first base. It's so easy. Tell him, Ron. And Ron says, no, it's like playing. It's the toughest position to play. Like he was so outspoken about it. This is Ron Washington the other night
I love it.
after another Angels loss. Listen to this.
Hell yeah, I'm fed up. This team has no balls, let alone no asses and elbows. We need Ohtani and Trout back. Or maybe I'll just ask for a trade back to Atlanta. Hell yeah, I'm fed up. This team has no balls, let alone no asses and elbows. We need Ohtani and Trout back. Or maybe I'll just ask for a trade back to Atlanta.
How about that?
Wow. That's crazy to say.
That's the manager of the Anaheim Angels, the LA Angels.
Wow. We need Trout and Ohtani back.
No
That's
elbow.
crazy.
How about that?
Wow.
Now, what do you think Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, is going to do to this poor guy? And he's telling the truth.
He's getting the care.
Yeah, but you got to go.
He's getting
right?
the care.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
we need Ohtani back. Like,
don't you got to go?
Yeah.
I love Ron Washington.
Me too.
In this day and age, you have to go.
How do you?
Isn't that something?
The players won't ever respond to this. They won't ever respond to him again. Right. And it's true, but they won't respond to it.
No, but see, I think the opposite. I almost think the players be like, yeah, he's right. You know what I mean? Ron Washington's right. Y'all are messed up upstairs.
He's talking about a few players.
Right.
But the whole team now will gang up, maybe,
That's
on
what I'm
those few
thinking,
players.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you're the one that's been in the room, dude. You tell me.
Yeah, like if a coach comes out and say that, you don't know exactly the players he's talking about, so you take it all as a unison type deal. It's like, man, who this guy think he is? Like this.
Broder's saying that's AI, man.
Yeah, that's AI. That's AI.
That's what I was coming next up. Got him again.
Because you just don't say stuff like that.
I was like,
Come on.
It's the New York porch.
We're sticking with this shit right here.
Mass is bitten by the New York porch.
I've done it again.
Got him
Poor
again.
Boomer, they're saying.
Side note.
Hey, it was fun while it lasted.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, you gotta play it again. I can't hear it. I was like, I didn't realize Ron Washington talks like that.
I'm like, no way.
Like, damn.
Side note, that AI is dangerous.
You can't just say that and want to keep your job.
Because now they having all those things on social media. You see all these clips, various outlets, and you see a clip, and you're like, oh, man. Now you're wondering if everything is AI or if it's real. They're going to start slipping some real things in there. You're going to be blaming it on AI as opposed to blaming, I'm telling you.
They say like AI is supposed to
dumb you down
to
and
start
stuff.
like World War III because you
Terminator.
got like, a couple of world leaders.
There you go.
Oh my God! Did you see the latest? Sorry, should I probably?
It's okay,
Go
man.
ahead.
Good job. It is. I have to own it, right? It is what it is.
But
Now go for it, Ryan.
well, did you see the Biden video from yesterday?
Oh my God! Which one? Which one? Every day it's something.
The one where he talks about the guy's wife.
Right.
Did you see where he talks about the guy's wife?
What did he say?
Well, I think we can play it. Hold on, we can play it. I'm gonna send this to you, Pete. Okay? It's in WhatsApp.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Is it as bad as Ron Washington?
Now this is accurate. So
He slipped that.
Yeah, this is accurate.
listen. Okay, wait. So this
This is accurate.
this is verified. This is not from the New York porch. Okay.
This is legit. Authentic.
So let me know when you have it, Pete, because I need
me a
to read.
second.
I need to read the quote before you hear the audio. Okay,
man.
I need to read the quote before you hear the audio. Okay.
Keep
but
going,
this is the thing about AI that is really, Maz gets bit by the AI portion of the Ron Washington. Well, this was the this is not AI. This is Joe Biden.
What was he doing?
He was at the NATO conference.
Okay.
And he was talking about the NATO chief, Jen Stoltenberg. And we'll get that to you.
Yeah, give me a second. It's not that easy to get.
No, I probably should have done
You
it.
can play Ron Washington again if you like.
You're right.
Oh, that'd be great.
Poor Wash.
Either way, some of this stuff is so funny. By the way, Joel, you never said who you would be starstruck by coming in.
Oh,
I know you don't have a mic, but shout it out.
My low key answer would be Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun Prince,
And then my main answer, he already came in,
Calvin
Calvin Johnson.
Johnson.
I was
There you
thinking
go.
I was thinking Calvin. I was like,
All right, right guy.
All right, so this is the quote. Joe Biden actually says, quote, "I realized I was talking to your wife." Here's what it sounded like in the microphone.
Guided this alliance through one of the most consequential periods in its history. I realized I was talking to your wife. I personally asked you to extend your service. Forgive me. And you put.
So he said, "I realized I was talking to your wife," and it sounded like something else. I mean, like the internet, basically what we're saying is the internet is a very dangerous place.
100%.
It is unbelievable.
Poor Joe.
Poor Joe.
Yeah.
And hits keep coming.
Yeah.
By the way, we never did play that Calvin Johnson sound. Do we have that Calvin Johnson?
Yeah, would you like
Here's
to play
what he
that?
says about the Detroit Lions.
Training camp, couple of weeks away. NFC Championship game last year. They're not going to surprise anybody this year. Everybody's going to be gunning for them. How different do you think that will be for this team?
The big difference for me, and I'm still outside looking in too, just like everybody else. But I feel like the big difference is, we're not, sneaking into the situation. Last year we had a down division. This year we don't know what that division exactly is going to look like. But what we learned from last year is that we could play with anybody. A lot of people didn't expect us to get to where we did, and so we've definitely showed that.
Have you seen some of these contracts that have been given to wide receivers lately? You sure you don't have anything left in you?
If I had anything in me, I'd be out there.
All right, so we're going to take a break. I want to come back and pursue it. One of the things that Calvin Johnson talked about is the division. Last year, the division was so weak. This year, not so much. How much that will impact the Detroit Lions, Braylon, and wide receiver salaries, too. Have you got 6 to 8 plays in there?
I got about 8. I got a strong 8.
Right. But first, a message from Dr. Pierce.
All right, that's our guy. Attention, sports fans. Don't miss our injury expert. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays with us. Trust the guy that DMAC and Braylon both trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Dr. Pierce. And of course, Premier Pet Supply. It's hands down Michigan's best pet store, family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, and over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan, and now for a limited time, the Nashville Hot is back. Get on it, or it's going to be gone. Simply put, it will be gone. The chicken tenders, the chicken sandwich, the fries, and or the pizza, all hot, so be very careful with it. And if that's not your speed, they do have the crispy chicken and the pizza. And as Anson Wells has told me to mention, they do have the honey biscuit. So make sure you stop on by because that's where it's at, Soroki's.
Also, head on over to Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. All 4 GM brands now under that Les Stanford umbrella. They've added the Buick GMC brands. That dealership located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford on Michigan Avenue in the great city of Dearborn, where they have been for over 55 years. Don't forget as well some of the great service men and women in the area. That service department at Les Stanford, second to none. So if you need something done to your vehicle, look no further than Les Stanford. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
Let's drive. How about it? I wanted to pick it up on Calvin Johnson. Just play the part about Calvin Johnson. Earlier today, Calvin Johnson on the Detroit Lions.
Training camp, a couple of weeks away. NFC Championship game last year. They're not going to surprise anybody this year. Everybody's going to be gunning for them. How different do you think that will be for this team?
The big difference for me, and I'm still outside looking in too, just like everybody else. But I feel like the big difference is, we're not, sneaking into the situation. Last year we had a down division. This year we don't know what that division exactly is going to look like. But what we learned from last year is that we could play with anybody. A lot of people didn't expect us to get to where we.
And I think that's the point right there too, because Braylon, last year, one of the reasons why I was so confident in the Detroit Lions and winning the division, and we did those confidence levels. The Jags to win the the Lions to win the Chiefs to win the. I was so confident that the Lions were going to win the division last year because I thought the division was so bad, and I do think they're going to win the division this year. But this division is among the best in football, and I do think that changes things.
Yeah, it definitely is a division that is there amongst the best of football. AFC North, Tom Masway loves that division. That's a pretty tough division, but NFC North is right there. I think with the emergence of Green Bay at the end of the season, how they played in the playoffs, what the Lions were able to do, and even the Bears to a certain extent. You look at the last 8 games for the Bears, they were a defensive juggernaut. Lions saw that firsthand. So this division will be a lot better, but the good news is they were the best in the weak division last year, but they're still the best in the better division because just like these teams that got better this year, whether you're talking about the Vikings or the Bears, the Lions got better in the offseason as well. They got better through the draft. They got better through free agency, and then they got better by paying their players and having their players come back that they already had. So it's going to be a fun year to watch. This is going to be a fun division to watch. Like all games, I think Maz will tune into and love and have on his DVR and play throughout the season. But the Lions are still the tops in this division. It's going to be a bumpy road, though.
Listen, man, everything you see, people talking about the Lions, they all believe in them. I don't think there's a person out there that doesn't believe in them.
Absolutely.
But the one thing they will say is the division got better. No kidding. The division got better. It did. Vikings might have taken a step back for a couple of years, but the Packers and the Bears, they're coming for the Lions. And that's a first, right? When's the last time we could say that? The Lions are the top dog. They have a tough schedule, first-place schedule. And we know back in the old days, when you play a first-place schedule, they have fallen on their asses. This time, I don't believe they will because they're built for the long haul. So I have no worries about this. They're just as good. They got just as much better than the other teams did. The Bears got better. The Packers got better. So did the Lions.
They did get better, and you're getting a look at some of the offenses in the NFC North now, just who teams added. I mean, you look at the Bears alone. Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. I mean, 4 of the 5 players are new there. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. You've got Aaron Jones in Minnesota. I mean, I'm not counting McCarthy. I do think Sam Darnold will be the quarterback this year for most of the year, and I think Sam Darnold's going to have a really nice year. But I do think you're right about that, Maz. I think, Bray, the Lions got better as well. So all of these teams got better, but so did the Lions. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think they have any weaknesses on this team. No weaknesses.
And the difference with the Green Bay Packers getting better and the Lions getting better versus everybody else, the Lions got better, but they already had a system in play. They already have continuity in their offense. You know, they're figuring it out on defense, but they can't play worse than they played last year. So you just imagine that the defense will be good and the special teams, I think, will be good again. So the continuity and the chemistry and what they've already had, they just added pieces to what they have. You look at the Packers. Packers already have it together, especially on that offense. That defense is going to be strong this year. Rashawn Gary is finally coming out of that shell. He's becoming a player that I think we thought he was going to be at Michigan. Sometimes it takes time, and it takes the right coaches to develop that talent. That's not what he had here. But everybody else, the Vikings, you're implementing a new quarterback, you're implementing a new running back into a new system, and same thing with the Bears. You got a new quarterback, you got 3 new pieces in terms of Roman Dunizé as well as Keenan Allen, as well as DeAndre Swift. That's the thing I think where the Lions and the Packers will have the advantage is they already have their systems in play. They just added and gotten better. These teams, they're new. They're trying to figure it out.
I saw something that Matt Eberflus is the favorite for Coach of the Year.
I know.
Wow.
And he was almost fired. So, and I gave you the Bill Parcells story from years ago. The Giants almost canned Parcells in his second year. Lucky they didn't. And then Phil Simms came, and then LT came, and all hell broke loose. So you got to give the guy a chance. And it seems that they played hard for him going down the stretch, even with Justin Fields, who they don't really like, and they gave away basically. It's all on Caleb Williams, man. The rest of that offense looks pretty damn good right now.
I got to bring these two topics together. Talk about the Lions and last night on off season with the New York Giants.
Yeah.
This show is so good.
It is.
I could not turn it off last night. It is
It's
so
not
good.
fluff.
It's
real.
all
They try to
real
catch up with
stuff.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It is all real stuff. And the Saquon Barkley stuff aside, put that aside for a second. Part of last night was the coaching staff and Joe Shane, the general manager, going to the scouting combine, and Brian Daboll putting these quarterbacks through the rigor.
Yep.
And I got a sense they loved J.J. McCarthy. They loved
Drake
May. They loved the kid in Washington.
Michael Penix.
No,
Jay
in
Daniels.
Washington.
Jay Daniels.
Oh,
Jay
Jay
Daniels.
Daniels.
Caleb Williams, not so much. I mean, like there was a time where Daboll asks him to draw up his favorite play. You've got 700 plays in a book.
Yep.
700 plays in a book. You have one play, and I don't remember what the exact wordage was. You have to score a touchdown here. You get to pick the play. What is it? Froze. Jaden Daniels is like, like what, describing it.
He's all over the board, the whiteboard.
All over it,
Yeah.
all over it. Frozen.
Did you see how much they loved Drake May?
They loved Drake May.
Can I show it to you?
Please.
Actually, we can't show it to you, but you'll hear it.
Okay.
Here it is.
Yep.
Gundolphin right, 72, Tundra, float, H angle.
Gundolphin right, 72, Tundra, float, H angle.
Yeah, so Tundra stands for what?
200s.
200s, and what does float stand for?
It's got the corner of the out.
Flag. We call it a flag,
Flag.
so
Okay.
I mean, we end up saying corner flag, but it's
Flag
flag.
with the
So
out,
flag,
and
and the
then
angle
angle.
is an angle. You got me on that?
Easy stuff.
Then you use Rita to the right, Linda to the left. It was a flip formation. Good?
Rita to the right, Linda to the left.
72, 5-man protection, slide to the will. So if the strength of the formation is right, what formation is that again?
Yeah, Gundolphin right.
Yeah, right. He's there. The will's over there. The line would slide there. We'd say 72 Rita.
72 Rita. Gotcha.
So let's say this before you go to the next one.
They love this kid so much that they offered their number 1 pick, which was number 6, and next year's number 1 to New England.
Wow.
To move up to number 3 to take him. And the Patriots told him to pound salt.
That's crazy.
What's cool about it too, Bray, is you see how the deals get done.
Yeah.
Joe Shane walks over to the New England Patriots box in Indianapolis at the scouting combine, walks in and says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" So they go outside. I mean, this is stuff you never see.
Yeah.
You're desperate to want to see it, and you never see it. It's really cool, And then the Patriots guy, I forgot who it was, but the Patriots guy's like, I've had a lot of people say what you're saying to me, like, without coming out and giving me an offer, like, so just, let you know.
Yeah, these are the things that you really want to see behind closed doors, and they're starting to give you that access. It feels good to see. Even I, as a player, you still don't necessarily get privy to a lot.
Like, not that part
100%. They hide things from you. They keep things from you. So it is cool to see. But Dayball's excitement with it makes a lot of sense. Look, he's a guy, X's and O's. He knows the game. He knows where the protection is. He knows what's coming up. He knows the alterations on the play. So that's what Dayball likes about him. Also, too, guys are systematic. Like a systematic guy that knows the system, knows what you like. Those are the plug-in players. Guys like Caleb Williams that are they know the offense, but they're also creators as well. That's the guys that you be in those are the guys that are dangerous. Those are the guys that coaches are like, could be a coach killer unless you just happen to get Lamar Jackson. You just happen to get Josh Allen. You just happen to get Patrick Mahomes. So that's the part I think a lot of those coaches are like leery of.
I'll be curious. Go ahead, man.
If you're the Patriots, how do you not take that deal?
Well, that's.
I mean, there are other quarterbacks that you could take. Do they think Drake May is that far ahead of everybody else?
Right.
They must.
Apparently they do.
He better be.
And it's that's the part for me because look, I'm just a guy that talks behind a microphone and gives opinions.
Yeah.
Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm not losing any games.
Or sleep.
I am not a Drake May guy. Yeah. I never liked him. I think he reminds me of Mitchell Trubisky, and maybe it's because they both went to North Carolina that I feel like that. But it almost reminds me of a guy that is so good in the classroom as well. Like he could speak the language, he can pick the play out, but maybe he can or
there's a disconnect somewhere.
And but like for New England to be that steadfast in their belief of Drake May, for the New York Giants, who's got great offensive staff, to want to do whatever they had to do to get up to take Drake May. That tells me that like these guys love him, like not just one coach, not just one organization, multiple organizations with very highly successful offensive coaching staffs.
Yeah.
He's got to beat that North Carolina jinx, though.
It's almost like, what am I missing? How are you that defiant about a player, kind of like I am about Caleb Williams as well. I feel the same way about Drake May that I feel about Caleb Williams. I don't think either guy will win in the NFL, but people love him.
And also, too, I think you watch it from an area, like you said, it reminds you of Mitchell Trubisky. The North Carolina thing is there. There wasn't anything extra special, I say, is what you think about it. But we're watching that through the lens of how many games have we watched from North Carolina, how many times have we really watched them down into this, how many offenses are we coming from? These coaches, when they watch players and they're watching this quarterback, they're coming from a place of, this is our system. How does he fit into our system? Can he do X, Y, and Z? Okay, check, X, check. So they're dialing in to really watching this player and going over this thousands and thousands of minutes or hours of film. And they get to the conclusion, hey, look, this is our guy. This guy can play in our system. I like what he can bring to the table. I don't have time to put that much film into watching Drake May to see if he's going to get it or not. I can watch a couple games. I can see the consistent things he does and he doesn't do, and I make my decision based off that. We're not privy to all that data that they have, Ryan.
So great, man.
Yeah.
Such a great show. Can't wait to watch Receiver tonight as well. Hey, I want to do a cap or no cap. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
That's right. What happens when you see that black and yellow sign on the front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring and technology backed by people. This technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care, so call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Hey, Kenny G.
Hey.
Can you wake up?
Woodward. Hey, I can wake up,
Thank you,
man.
my friend.
And you should too. Every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. It is the Wake Up Woodward crew in the morning. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel, Sam, Broder, JB, and myself as we cover all of Detroit's sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction on Detroit's #1 sports network. You heard me right. #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supplies has everything that your pet can dream of. And guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
So, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Listen, y'all, the home opener against the Rams is coming up, and you know one thing Detroiters do best more than anybody else is boo them kids, man. And we got that Boo Them Kids shirt live on woodwardsports.com, the merch shop. You go on there, you click shop. We got hoodies, tees, hats, everything guaranteed to turn heads. But we also got that Boo Them Kids shirt, so make sure you get that. And you can only get it, once again, at woodwardsports.com and click shop.
Hey, welcome back. It is a Wednesday. Everybody survived the rain, too, by the way. I think we're on the tail end of it here if you're watching live.
It was horrible driving.
Yeah, this morning
horrible.
Was awful.
That's what it seems like. It's been a gloomy day all day. Even taking my trash day is Wednesday, so even taking the trash down this morning, it was like, I don't think this is going anywhere.
I feel like this summer's been weird weather-wise.
It's been good, but it's been a lot of rain.
Yeah, a lot of rain. All right, Braylon, how about a cap or no cap situation? It is Wednesday, cap or no cap?
Cap or no cap, you know what time it is. When I make the statement, you say cap or no cap. Cap means you think it is a lie. No cap means you think it is the truth. Let's get this party started. Jahmyr Gibbs, since we were talking about him yesterday, Jahmyr Gibbs will make first team All-Pro this season. Ryan and Monty, what say you? Is that cap or no cap?
I think that's cap. I don't think the Lions will rely on him enough back there. I think his numbers may be a little bit skewed because I think there's a Christian McCaffrey that'll make first team, and perhaps Christian McCaffrey, and perhaps maybe even a Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia.
Or your guy, Bijan.
Or maybe Bijan. So I'd say cap.
Okay. Tom Asway, Jahmyr Gibbs, your favorite player on the Detroit Lions. Will he be a first-team All-Pro?
I'm going to say that is no cap.
Wow. Okay, Big Maz.
I truly believe this is his coming out party.
Okay.
And the NFL is going to learn about this kid because they're going to use him from week 1 all the way to week 17. David Montgomery is going to spell him when he needs to. You've got Sione Vaki coming in as well. I like him as the third guy. I think this kid goes for 1,500 plus yards this year.
I like the man stands behind.
Total.
I like the man stands behind the Jahmyr Gibbs choice. Your first time playing this show, my man KG.
Yes, sir.
Is that a cap or no cap? That's Jahmyr Gibbs will be first team All-Pro.
This is tough, man. This is tough. I gotta say cap.
Yeah.
I still feel like Monty is the lead back, quote lead back in this offense. They're going to be able to use both backs in different ways, and Gibbs will get the playing time, but just All Pro, I don't think he's there just yet. So
okay, I like it. Brian, actually, you know what, Tom Aswell, I'll start with you on this one.
All right.
Jordan Love will have the most passing yards in the division this year. Is that a cap or is that a no cap?
That is cap.
Oh, that is cap.
That is cap. He's got 3 young receivers. He's got a back in Jacobs. He's going to be running himself. I believe Jared Goff will have the most yards in the division. I think this will be Jared Goff's best year as a pro. So I'm going to say that is Cap.
KG, it's on you.
I'm going to go no cap.
Say it with your chest,
No
my man.
cap, man.
Okay.
I really feel like, Jordan Love, we need to see more of him, but, half of the season, what he did last year, man, he really broke out. He does have a lot of good young receivers on his team, so I think Jared Goff, they'll spread the ball around more, so I'll give it to Jordan Love, man. He'll have the most passing yards.
I, too, will say Cap. Jared Goff last year, 4,500 yards. Second, only behind Tua Tagovailoa. Jordan Love, 7th last year, 4,100 yards. So
and he didn't even get going until game 7.
Yeah, that's true. So I just believe that this offense is just going to be too much for anybody to stop. Jared Goff will have the most.
I like it. I was just looking at something real quick as it relates to the Packers.
He's going to have his best year this year.
Jared Goff? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
MVP
This
type
is peak
season.
year for him.
I think he could win the MVP, to be honest.
I hope he does.
Yeah. I think
he does.
could
That
win
means
the
we're going to the
MVP.
Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what that means. I fully agree with you.
I just look at people say they want a lot more out of the Green Bay Packers. I just look at that second half of the season. There were some gauntlet teams that they played. Not only just played, but they beat. They beat the Rams, who made the playoffs. They beat the Lions, who made the playoffs. They beat the Chiefs, who made the playoffs. They beat the Buccaneers. They lost to the Buccaneers.
They could have sent the 49ers home in the playoffs. They
should have sent the 49ers home in the playoffs. They
That's
should
what I'm
have.
saying. So it's like, did you see enough in that sample size?
I got to see more.
All right, it's fair. That's fair. I like it.
Both NFC North teams let the 49ers off the hook.
Yeah.
I heard
let them
something
off the hook.
I heard something interesting on the podcast. I was watching 50. What is it? What's Jeff Teague's podcast? Club 520.
Yeah, Club
520 podcast. They were talking about it. It made a lot of sense.
You ever heard of that, Maz?
No.
It's a good podcast.
Jeff Teague,
I was listening to 70s on 7.
Sorry.
No, you're
80s
good.
on
You're
8
all
a
good.
little
It's a good podcast, and dude on the right, Bishop, is funny. He said, you know what they're going to have happen this year in the first game of the NBA season? Like LeBron James and Bronny are either going to get assists. Bron's going to get the assist to Bronny. Bronny gets the assist to LeBron. Got to thinking. He explained. He said, come on, you know the NBA wants this moment for LeBron. You know he's going to get in with like a minute left in the first quarter, maybe get a steal or LeBron get a rebound to him. And as he's saying it and playing it out, I'm like, I could definitely see this happening 100%.
You just made me even hate LeBron even more now. Without even doing anything,
Let
I
that
already
hate out
hate him
your
more.
heart, man.
Hey, look, LeBron James held the NBA down for 20 years. They owe him this one favor. I'm not even mad at it. They owe
He held him down all right.
He's carried the league for 20 years, man. It's like, and done it the right way, regardless of some other stuff. You know, I don't like LeBron necessarily, but two things can be true.
He's not that bad.
Do you think this moment will happen where Bronny will have an assist or Bron will have an assist in game 1, Lakers versus whoever the hell they're going to play?
110%. 100%. Not even if both are healthy.
Right.
If both
Right,
are healthy.
exactly.
100%.
See,
not even 0.5.
I was listening.
100%.
And I agree. It's first. I agree. The NBA wants this moment. LeBron wants this moment. They're gonna give it to him, Pop. So I think it's a no cap, man. KG with the forever optimistic.
No cap, and after the first week, they send Bronny to the G League. No cap, though.
Okay,
I don't think they can. I mean, I don't think he's on a two-way contract. I mean, they could.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's on a two-way contract.
He's definitely not.
You know?
That's true, yeah.
I don't think he's there on a two-way contract. No cap.
They want that moment. No cap.
Maz, I won't even make you answer the question.
Good. I refuse to answer that question on the grounds of hate.
And I love the honesty. You can answer this one for me. Tonight starts Receiver on Netflix. Everybody's going to be tuned in to check out, see what goes on. Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions will be on there. I'm going to ask and put the question this way, or statement. Amon-Ra will be the star of Receiver.
Ooh.
Cap or no cap, Tom Azaway.
Oh, that is no cap, baby.
No cap.
We already know his personality. We already know that this guy is like Hollywood. He's Hollywood.
Okay.
And, you know, I've got a piece of audio I want to play for you eventually here when he went on a podcast with Ryan Clark.
Yeah, the pivot.
Can I play that while we're doing this?
Yeah.
Listen to this guy talk about when he got drafted and he looked at his phone and saw a 313 on that phone.
How proud are you to be such a huge part of what's happening in Detroit with that team?
I remember getting drafted, seeing the 313. I said, the one team I told my brother, like,
I do not want to go to is Detroit. I want to play. I want to go to the Pack. I want to go to the Packers, play with him with Aaron. Go to the Chiefs, play with Mahomes. Cowboys, any of that, like a big team, good quarterback. And I saw the 3-on-3. I said, it's over with. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be in the middle of nowhere. Team isn't good. I probably know 2 players on the roster. Like, it was terrible. And me going 4th round, it was all bad. I mean, looking back on it, I was hot. Like when I got drafted, I wasn't even excited. I was mad at the situation, at what happened. But looking back on it now, it's like it completely flipped for me. I remember being there as a rookie when I first got there, staying in the hotel, doing rookie mini camp. I was like, this is completely different for me. I grew up in Orange County, Southern California, went to USC. I traveled the world a lot as a kid, but I was never in one spot by myself with no family on a team that I didn't really know much about, whole new regimen, everything. So it was all new. And, you know, my whole thing is when I got there, I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get on the field, yada, 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 block, whatever it is. I don't know if dudes are faking injuries at the end of the season, if they just didn't want to play. But my whole mindset was I'm gonna keep going. Like, this is my chance to really make a name for myself, make some plays, go into the end of the season, you know, feeling good, hopefully into the next season, you know, being a key guy. So that's really what I did going in, you know, that whole rookie year. But to see the whole transformation from my rookie year to now, I mean, to be with the guys that I came in with, like Coach Campbell, Coach Randall L., Panay, Jared, our whole draft class is still there my rookie year. All the dudes, just to experience. I never really been on like a losing team like that in my life. I was mostly on winning teams. You know, I'd come home after my rookie year and dudes would be like, what team are you on? I'd be like the Lions. They'd be like, man, y'all niggas suck. Like, I'd be like, man, I couldn't say much. I was like, you're right, we only won 3 games. But I didn't really like that. Like, I didn't ever told them that, but it's like, it's cool. And now it's funny to see dudes talk about, man, we were rooting for you guys. You guys are so good, like this, that, and the other. It's like, it's cool, but you still remember what they were saying 3 years ago. And I feel like our whole team kind of feels the same way. We still, even though we're not the underdog, we still feel like we are. We still feel like teams think we're the same old Lions. We can't win the big game, whatever it is. So I just love being around, you know, all the guys at once that were there. A lot of us are still there, the coaches, and building this thing together.
Sorry for the M-bomb slip, but we do appreciate the pivot, by the way, for that. That's just more along the lines of 2 things I heard in that interview. One is the work that he put in, because a lot of people, you can go in these situations, you get drafted to the Detroit Lions, you're in a place where you're not used to being by yourself. You start mixing those elements together, and you start to get depression, you start getting out working hard, you start getting kind of shutting it down. That's not what he did. He chose to go the opposite way, and he was playing on a bad team. He did have that situation of, I don't know anybody, what's going on. I do you one better when he said, you know, I probably can name 2 guys on the team. That's BS, because I couldn't name one. I'm thinking about that team. Maybe Jeffrey Okudah, just because he had got drafted in the first round the year before. Outside of that, but anyway, just the work ethic. He's definitely going to be the star of that show, because he draws you in with the seriousness. Now, I watch this podcast. He has a serious element, but he's also a goofball that does stuff, and he wants to be like the room, the energy and light in the room. So I think he's going to have fun.
And how many languages can he speak, right? Doesn't he speak 3 languages?
Yeah, a number of different languages.
It's amazing.
His dad and mom did a good job with he and
so
his
that is
brother.
no cap. He will be the star.
I think that's from everybody.
That is hard
I'm
to say.
gonna go on a off the wall.
George Kittle.
Yep.
I'm not mad at that though.
George Kittle's gonna be the star of the show.
All right.
Yeah.
Just because he's like
He's
like
that type
he's like
of
a
energy.
WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
He's not like a real person. He's like a
He's like Pat
caricature.
McAfee,
Yeah.
but an all-pro NFL player.
He's like a character.
Did you hear about my man Joe Tessitore?
No.
Yeah,
what?
going to WWE.
He's gonna be the voice of the WWE.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Joe
That's
Tess
gonna
is
be
like
great.
he's made for that.
Yeah,
He
calls
is
a great
perfect
boxing match.
for
Now, I'm not a
that.
fan of wrestling, but he does boxing like nobody's
He
business.
is perfect
He
for
is
that.
just so. I love him.
It's gonna be
He's a
great.
wrestling fan too.
What-
So
Yeah, he's
What's
gonna
gonna
make
happen to
that.
Michael Cole?
they're gonna keep him. He's gonna be on the 3-man team, I believe. So.
Oh wow!
Joe
Yeah,
Tess.
get rid of Corey. Get rid of Corey.
Yeah, get rid of Corey.
It's about time to get rid of Corey Gray.
Yeah, Corey, get rid of Corey Graves.
Matt LaFleur is the best coach in the division.
Oh, come on.
Is
now.
that cap or no? This is how you have to make
go
a
ahead,
statement,
go
and then you guys cap or no cap. Matt LaFleur is the best coach in the division. What say you, Ryan Ermanni? Well, I told you, I came up with some good ones.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say no cap.
Okay.
I think Matt LaFleur to win 13 games, 3 years in a row, to take this quarterback and completely reload and not skip a beat and to be a top 3 or 4 team in the NFC still a year and a half after Aaron Rodgers leaves? Yeah, I'll give it to him. And I still do question some of the in-game abilities of Dan Campbell. And I do.
And while all that is true, Ryan, what happens to Matt LaFleur once he gets in the playoffs? Bye-bye.
Yeah, I know. He's
every
absolutely
single time.
He did the same thing that Dan Campbell did. I'm just saying that to win 13 games a year is
no, it is
something.
It definitely is with 2 different quarterbacks. I will give you that, but I gotta say cap on this one. I'm going Dan Campbell. The linear progression of this guy every single year, he just gets better and better and better. And then last year it culminated in us finishing a playoff game better than the Green Bay Packers, man. I think Dan Campbell is the guy. He's probably one of the better coaches in the league, arguably the coach of the year. I'm going Dan Campbell.
Tom Masway, what say you?
Well, Dan Campbell's my favorite coach.
That's not the answer, though. That's not the question.
It's no cap. Matt LaFleur is the best coach in that division. But Dan Campbell's closing like Seabiscuit is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That I'll say that. But Matt LaFleur, he's the boy genius.
Yeah. Definitely the answer is Matt LaFleur's, and in my mind, it is opinionated, but I think when you look at the success he's already had, and then Ryan hit the nail on the head. They take 1 year dip, Aaron's last year, and then followed up with a first-year quarterback in Jordan Love, and they go to the second round of the playoffs. It kind of is one of those things that just speaks for itself. I think we may.
All right. You got one more?
I got a couple more, but we got Intern Alex.
All right, well, let's take a break. We'll do Intern Alex. Next, Wolverine Wednesday, we're going to do some trivia. By the way, Will Johnson with some high honors in EA Sports. We'll talk about that. But first, the message from Swiss.
Right now, more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, dealing with divorce. Let me tell you about KDK Law. Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience, 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248 248-971-0476. 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law. They've got your back. All right, it is time now where we're joined by our good friend, Intern Alex, part of our Wolverine Wednesday segment. Wolverine Wednesday brought to you by Skinny Butcher. Alex, how you doing, my friend? What's going on?
I'm doing great on this rainy Wednesday out here. And, I thought last week we had so much fun playing over the under or over under that we're going to do a similar gamified segment this week with a little game of fill in the blank.
I love a good fill in the blank. I love fill in the blank, Alex.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. And, this first one is going to be right in your wheelhouse, Braylon. Blank will be Michigan's leading receiver in yards in 2024.
Oh, shoot. Give me multiple choice. I think we'll go Cornelius Johnson.
That's going to be a little hard with him, in the NFL this year. But
give him a couple of choices, Alex.
I just...
All right, yeah,
I'm not high on. I'm not high on the receiving core.
Yeah, that's mighty telling for the season. We got Tyler Morris, Samaj Morgan, and Colson Loveland. If you had to have the big three Vegas favorites for receiving yards out there, and me personally, I'm going to go with Samaj Morgan. Last year he had some issues, with hands, and he wasn't the best route runner. But those are all developmental skills. But I think back to his punt return touchdown against Iowa, his touchdown in the 10-yard line against Indiana, where he shook off almost 5 tacklers, and his end around against Rutgers. And I think he has the electric ability with the ball in his hands to actually go out there and score a touchdown. So I'm going to go with him.
I don't want to say anything negative, so I'll just say Colston Loveland. I think Loveland.
He's a stud.
Give me Loveland, even though he's not a receiver. He's a tight end.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, he can still lead in receiving yards.
That's much.
All right,
I got one for you. Ready? How about Donovan Edwards out of the backfield?
And it's a safe throw for a first-year quarterback.
That's exactly why. I mean, we still don't know who the quarterback is going to be.
And
do we? Yeah. I mean, I would anticipate it be Loveland or Donovan Edwards out of the backfield just for that reason alone. I mean, it's going to be check down for whoever the quarterback is for much of the season until they get comfortable, I think. I mean, Samaj Morgan will probably break a few. He's so fast. But outside of that, I don't anticipate some 1,000-yard receiver. Certainly not.
Yeah, I love the safety blanket take right there with Donovan Edwards, because also not only is he a safety blanket for a new quarterback, but he also has, as we've seen, great skills as a route runner. Still, he can also be audible out of the backfield and put in the slot or something, stand alone. So I love that take. All right, then on to the next one. We're going to go, blank will be Michigan's biggest trap game of the season. Now we got some big candidates out there. A trap game cannot be Oregon, Ohio State, or Texas because, we've been talking about this all off season and we'll continue to talk about them all season. But some of the other teams on the schedule, we got Fresno State, Washington, USC, Indiana, Illinois. So wondering, what do you guys think will be the biggest game of concern out of those for Michigan?
Well, I mean, I just looking at the schedule here, obviously I think it would be Indiana because you've got the Michigan State game, then you've got a bye week, and then you've got Indiana and then Ohio State. No. Sorry, the way this schedule is listed, it's Michigan State, Oregon, then Indiana. Wow.
I got one.
Damn. Go ahead.
I got one. I got Minnesota. I think where Minnesota is scheduled, where they're sandwiched in between USC and Washington. I think sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle worrying about 2 Pac-12 teams. First year they'll be in the Big Ten, even though you played Washington last year, a lot of changeover at Washington. I think Minnesota is sitting right in the spot where a lot of focus on maybe Lane Kiffin, a lot of focus on Washington, not enough focus on Minnesota.
I don't think they have Minnesota on the schedule. Am I looking at a bad schedule?
Yeah, they got Minnesota on the 28th.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They play USC, Minnesota, Washington, Illinois.
Oh man, this I do not like this Bing. I hate Bing.
You're in Bing right now?
Well, I mean, it's just like when you Google, I said Michigan schedule automatically goes to Bing.
You got AI'd.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
What say you about the Minnesota pick in terms of where they're placed, Alex?
Oh, there's
I mean, I think Minnesota is always going to be a trap game. They're always going to come in with good players in the trenches, going to be pretty sound fundamentally. But one that I'm really concerned for personally is actually going to be Washington. Now, a lot of people probably aren't thinking that because they lost so much through the draft and the portal. First year head coach in Jed Fish, so Caleb DeBoer is no longer there. But when I look at Washington, the thing that really concerns me is one, it's in Washington, so it's a long journey, cross country flight.
Tough
Husky
stadium, too.
gets deceivingly loud. Yeah, deceivingly loud. They have the European soccer style awnings to help keep the noise in. But then also their coaching staff. Jed Fish at Arizona, he was great at having his team play up to the level of competition. Like, they only lost to Washington by 7 points last year. They took USC to triple overtime in the Coliseum. And then also defensively, this is one of the least talked about assistant coaching hires, I think, in college football this year, is they have Steven Belichick, Bill Belichick's son, a defensive coordinator, who had been calling the plays in New England for the past 4 years on defense. So that gives me a little bit of concern of, will they be able to, throw confusing looks at, either Alex Orji or Jack Tuttle, and will Kirk Campbell be able to hold up in the chess match against, the son of obviously the best defensive mind in football history. So that is one of the reasons why the Washington game gives me a little bit of concern looking ahead at the schedule.
You're so good, Alex. I just wanted to compliment you, man. Nice job.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Then we can move on to the next one. Talking about Michigan this year, obviously we're looking ahead at the playoffs and stuff because it's a new era of college football. And determining the rankings, I want to know, what do you guys think will be Michigan's best resume win of the season for the Wolverines?
Texas.
Oregon.
I think they're going to beat Texas.
I think it depends. It depends on what you have them ranked as. Because I have them beating Ohio State and Oregon, but I got them losing to Texas. So it's kind of like, what does your schedule look like? On my particular schedule, I think their best win would be between Ohio State and Oregon, whichever has the best record.
Yeah, I mean, we're all going to have three separate answers here. I'm personally going to go with Ohio State this year. I think they are the best team of the three, ultimately, even though Michigan plays, I think all three of those teams are top four teams in college football this year. But I think Ohio State, they're going to have a really tough schedule up until the Michigan game. They have Iowa, Penn State this year, and Oregon. And I think they're going to win all three of those games. So I think, Michigan's going to be marching to Columbus against an 11-0 Ohio State team, likely with probably a 9-2 or 10-1 record, or, depending on how the Oregon and Texas games go. But I think, we're at a point now where this Michigan coaching staff has, they've been scheming against Ryan Day and Jim Knowles for a few years now, so they know how to play that type of chess match. And then also the way recruiting stuff's been going the past few years. Michigan, we know how much better they are in the trenches, and there is something to be said about having the mental edge and the momentum in this series. We were on the other side of that for too many years a decade ago, and we know what it's like when, a team is coming in trying to have to get a monkey off their back. And until we see that sort of toughness and mentality out of the Ryan Day program, I don't really foresee them getting that win against Michigan, even if they look better on paper. So I think that all those factors in, I think will give Michigan a win over Ohio State and will help their resume a lot.
I say Ohio State as well.
Mm-hmm. They're the best team money can buy.
Absolutely. At least this year, it feels like that anyway. What else?
Yeah, they spent
No, please go ahead.
Oh yeah, they spent $13 million on this team to try and beat Michigan. Hopefully it'll be the biggest waste of money in Ohio State athletics history. So,
amen to that. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, right. I wanted to ask you a question. Real quick. What do you make of Will Johnson being ranked the best player in EA Sports College Football 25? Mason Graham is
4 in the top 50.
8th on this list. 2 in the top 10, 4 in the top 50, and certainly Will Johnson, the number one player in EA Sports College Football 25. Pretty impressive, is it not?
Oh, yeah, and it's completely deserved as well. This is a guy who came in as a freshman and made an immediate impact on a college football playoff team in 2022. Then last year was, an absolute shutdown corner in college football, while also he wasn't doing this playing a bunch of nobodies. He went up against Marvin Harrison Jr. He went up against Rome Odunze. He went up against Isaiah Bond against Alabama, who he will again this year. So when you look at that list, it's not just, he's one of the few players who, it wasn't just him having a great year last year and came back. He's had 2 years of exceptional performances at Michigan and is really living up to wearing the number 2 jersey. So I think there is no doubt that he should be the highest ranked player in this game.
I got another question. How do you get the cover of NCAA but are only the 49th rated player on the game? Like I didn't understand.
Donovan Edwards?
Donovan Edwards.
Yeah.
He's on the cover, but he's a 49th ranked player with a 91 overall. I was like, I feel like they did him dirty. I heard he's a cheat code, but if you're gonna be on the cover, you gotta be at least 94, 95.
Oh yeah, the Donovan Edwards ranking is a bit of a mystery because on one hand he's a super famous, iconic back thanks to his runs at Ohio State and is a big brand. But
Also, he doesn't have a huge resume.
Back.
Yeah,
doesn't have a huge resume. And then also just looking at it from the marketing angle, if they already have Travis Hunter on the cover, are they really going to put two cornerbacks on the cover of a game where now they have a running back, a cornerback? You can even call Travis Hunter a wide receiver if you want, because that's what they have him listed as. But we all know he's a corner through and through. And then Quinn Ewers. So my take is that they just didn't want to have two defensive backs with Will Johnson on. And then Donovan Edwards, when you put him in front of the camera or something, he'll always give you a good soundbite.
He's Detroit, man. This is what we do, man.
Where's Sharon Moore ranked?
In terms of coaches this year?
Just throwing that out there. They have a perfect team.
Yeah.
They have a perfect team, except we don't know who the quarterback is, and we don't know how the coach is going to be.
Right.
University of Michigan.
Yeah. Outside of that, we're looking, stacked. Perfect. So, but it'll be an interesting season nonetheless.
Hey, Alex, final thing for you. Who do you think will be the quarterback or the two quarterbacks that will see time early in the season? Who's gonna start game one? Is it Orji?
I'm personally gonna go Orji. I think if you're really going for a national championship this year, or you're gonna need a guy on offense who can go out there and make plays for you. Last year's team, you probably could have plugged in more of a game manager type, and Jack Tuttle could have helped lead us to a national championship with that experience of a team. But with this young of a team breaking a whole new offensive line, I think you need to look for the high ceiling. And with this new offensive line, I think you're going to have to go with Orji because he'll, likely have to run for his life sometimes and make things happen himself. And then also, do some favors and, go against some stacked boxes with his running ability, which will be good and open up the pass game later. So I think you just have to go with Orji week one and hope he, figures it out and puts it all together.
All right. Wolverine Wednesday, intern Alex, my main man, Michigan Insider for you. Brought to you by Skinny Butcher. Alex, thanks so much, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, Alex.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
You got it. Good stuff there. I am having the hardest time with my earpiece, hearing there. I got to get that figured out. I don't know what to tell you guys.
I'm doing the best you can.
I'm doing the best I can. I could barely, and I know the levels are good for the audience.
Right.
I have a problem.
I think it's your switch box. I think it's your box.
Mm-hmm. I think it's my jack.
Oops. Pause. Sorry.
Yeah. Ray, you want to finish up cap or no cap?
Yeah.
You got some good ones going. Let's roll.
Definitely. Let's see where I left off at.
Tigers will probably get rained out tonight, you think?
You think so? I don't know. They're going to try to get it in, maybe. I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for quite some time.
All right.
All right, here you go. Lions will have the highest scoring NFC North offense. Cap or no cap?
No cap.
There's no cap.
No cap.
All right.
No cap.
No cap.
I believe they have the best offense in the NFC.
Here's one for
Hands
you.
down.
For you baseball guys. Shohei is only playing DH this year. He's not pitching. He's not playing in the infield nor the outfield. Not playing the field. But yet, he's on pace to be MVP. No DH has ever won MVP. Tom Mazaway, Shohei Ohtani won MVP. Cap or no cap? Shohei Ohtani will win MVP.
Wow, that's a great question. That's a great topic.
Yeah.
That is that. Oh.
No DH, no sole DH has ever won MVP.
He's something, man. How do you not give it to him, right?
Yeah. It's him or Judge.
He affects the game so much.
Yeah. He's the man. He's the most valuable player in the entire sport, bar none. Aaron Judge will probably be a distant second.
Yeah.
I'd give it to Judge.
Yep.
I'd give it to Aaron Judge, and after that, after Aaron Judge, I'd give it to Bryce Harper.
Over Shohei.
Wow. Yeah. I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean.
Hey, you're not throwing out two bad guys. Yeah. Those are two great players.
I love Shohei Ohtani. I mean, again, for that reason.
Yeah.
For that reason. It affects the game
Shohei is head and shoulders above every single player.
Yeah, no cap. He's the face of the league.
He could be the best in the history of the game when it's all said and done.
Even if he comes back next year when he starts to pitch again, he doesn't have to. Like, he's a top 10 pitcher when he's pitching. He doesn't even have to be there. Just to be a guy under 4 ERA, still give you the hit in the offense that you get. Like that's still worth $700 billion. I mean $700 million. That's
He's a
still
lousy
worth that.
gambler, though. Sorry, my bad.
And with that, Sam Darnold will play all 17 games. Ryan Ermanni, I come to you because of obvious reasons.
Cap.
Okay.
Cap.
We will see J.J. McCarthy.
I really, to be honest with you, it's week 1. I'm going to say over under 5.5 play 17 games.
It's not a bad observation.
Huh?
For Sam?
No.
No, he's just talking
of
about
the
period.
32
the NFL.
teams in the NFL, the week 1 starting quarterbacks, over or under 5.5 of those 32 week 1 starters that play all 17 games.
Yeah.
I take the over barely.
Yeah, barely though.
That's a good one.
But
That's
the
a good
fact that
number.
I got to tag barely on there means it was worthy.
I'll probably take the over on that. But again, pretty damn close.
What would you set it at to make sure that there's even balance? 6.5? I mean, was I off by 1?
I think I would go. I think I'd go lower than that.
Lower?
Oh no, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm bad. Yeah, I would say
32
7.
is a lot of teams.
I'd say 7.
7.
7's a number.
That's cap on that.
You can't push.
7.
7.5.
In light of Kawhi Leonard pulling out from Team USA, in
Derek
which
White in.
yesterday he said he'd be ready for Canada in a couple of weeks or whenever. Will the USA team go undefeated? Or Team USA will go undefeated, Ryan Ermanni?
Cap. They will not. The world is.
I like it.
The world
That's why the
has
question-
caught up. And if you look at some of the biggest stars in the NBA, the world has caught up. And maybe of the top 6, 7, 8 players in the league, half of them are international.
They're not losing.
They'll lose a game.
So you
They're
say
not
it's
losing.
cap.
They're going to lose a game.
That's cap.
No cap.
That's cap.
They're going to lose a game, man.
They'll average 15-point wins.
Okay. Cap, no cap. KG.
That they'll finish undefeated?
Yes.
Cap. Good. They're going to lose. The European game is caught
Okay.
up, so
I like it.
You got one more?
That is it.
All right, that is it. Perfect, because I was going to say make it quick.
Hurry this.
Get us out of here. We're all in tomorrow.
Heck of a show. We're all back. The gang's back tomorrow for Thursday. We'll have a top 10 Thursday. We'll have some more fun. We're getting closer and closer to Lions training camp. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. For Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazway, my man KG in the sound booth, and always Peace Spy back in the TD booth. We are Ermanni Network with Matt. See you tomorrow.
See ya.